What's up, guys? Is back with a new video today, and we are now talking about Doctor Who season 2 of the Disney BBC era. And all I've got to say is, wow, that ending was something. That caught me off guard, that ending, to be honest. That's something I was not expecting, and I don't understand how it did not get leaked. They managed to hide that really well, in my opinion, because I didn't see anything online about that ending at all. So, hands down to them for keeping that a secret, but that's a big spoiler, but we'll get into that later in the video. But yeah, I'm going to talk about Doctor Who this season and give you my thoughts of this season, and yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, overall, this season, to summarise it, I do think this season, in my opinion, I do think this season was a bit better than the first season we got with Shooty, to be honest. Yeah, I quite like this season a lot more than the first one we had with him. I still enjoy his performance as the Doctor. I still think he's a great Doctor. And, yeah. And seeing his dynamic with the new companion Belinda, as well, Belinda Chandra, was really cool. Seeing that this season, obviously, seeing how she ties into the story. The whole thing is he's trying to get back to Earth, basically, but they can't get back to Earth. But yeah, and that's the whole story of the season, basically. They're trying to get back, but they can't get back to Earth. And we obviously do find out why. But yeah, each episode that we got this season, I did quite enjoy. There was some things I didn't really like about this season, but I will get into that later this video. But this season, in my opinion, I know there's been a few stories online with people not liking it, but I mean, if you don't like it, then you don't like it, but everyone has their own opinion. But in my opinion, I do think that this season was definitely better than the last season, to be honest. But yeah, I think what we're going to do now is we're just going to go by each episode and just talk about each episode and break it down, really. But yeah, let's get into that and talk about each episode. So the very first episode we have is the Robot Revolution. This episode I thought was quite interesting. I think it was a fun episode to introduce us to our new companion Belinda, and the Doctor meeting her, basically. And we do get the connections carrying on with the whole Mrs. Flood thing from the previous season. And turns out she's also Belinda's neighbour, like she was for Ruby, which is quite interesting. But yeah, seeing these robots as well was really cool. They look definitely practical, these robots, which was really cool. I really like practical effects, to be honest. Seeing the whole connection with Belinda and Mundy as well, the whole connection there. I liked how they tied that in, to be honest. That was interesting to see that. But yeah, I didn't really have anything too negative to say about this episode, was maybe except for the ending where we got the reveal of Belinda's ex was the robot AI, or OW as they called him, controlling all the robots on that planet which was named after her. But yeah, it was a bit of a fun stupid episode, to be honest, but I mean, that's what Doctor Who is. But yeah, I thought that was a nice fun episode to start off the season with, to be honest. So yeah, episode 2, which is called Lux. Now, this was a story which was quite interesting. So it's basically set in the past. It's like set in the 50s, I believe it was, in this cinema in Miami. So we get this story where basically this movie theater is basically been like possessed, basically like the so cartoon basically comes to life, and we get Lux possess this cartoon, who is the like one of the gods of the pantheon, basically, which is interesting to see. So yeah, and he has like the same giggle as like the other gods, like Maestro and the Toy Maker, which we do see in the previous season. And we do obviously get the references to like the other gods as well, like to them too, and Sutek as well, and other members to the pantheon. But yeah, it was cool seeing like the Doctor and Belinda get turned into like cartoons as well, which is really fun. I quite like that. It's definitely something different that we've never seen in Doctor Who before. But yeah, it was really fun seeing that, to be honest. And then yeah, because basically from the first episode and the second episode and each episode they're using this device, this Vindicator, to like get back home, back to 2025 somehow. But yeah, they run into one of the gods. So I mean, it was a fun episode. I quite enjoyed that one. I don't really have much in like negative really to say about that episode, to be honest. I quite enjoyed that one. But yeah, that one was quite interesting, to be fair. But yeah, I quite liked that one. Now, the third episode, The Well. Now this episode, oh my god, this is my favourite episode of this season, to be honest. Because one, it was a creepy and scary episode. Two, it's probably one of the best sequel episodes that we've probably had in Doctor Who. And I never thought we would get a sequel to this episode ever, to be honest. But here we go. We're in 2025 and we've got it. So I think there was a leak about this episode, of what this episode was about and what was in it, but I managed to stay away from that, luckily. So yeah, if you don't know what this episode was, basically we see the Doctor, Belinda, run into like these group of like armed like explorers, basically, or like these colonists going to like this planet to investigate what happened, because there was like an incident on this planet, basically. And obviously the Doctor and Belinda are using the Vindicator still to try and get back home. So they run into these people and they decide to help and investigate what's happened to this facility with these people on this planet, these colonists. And when they get there, they only find like a bunch of dead bodies and one survivor, basically, which is interesting. And yeah, they find one survivor, and it's a bit curious why there's only one life form left in the whole facility and everyone else is dead, because they've either been shot or their necks have been broken or whatever, basically. So yeah, it's very interesting, and all the mirrors in this facility and all the reflections have been destroyed as well, which is very interesting. But yeah, this episode was something when something very creepy. They find this survivor, which is really cool, because I really like that the Doctor got to interact with this survivor using sign language. Like, that's not really something we've seen in Doctor Who before, and I really appreciate that. I really did like that they've done something with that in Doctor Who, which is very cool, to be honest. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, to be honest, this episode, with that part of the episode. But we start to learn that with this survivor, that there is something behind her, and you can only see it, like, sort of like when you're like the corner of your eye, or like sort of when you're looking directly, like 12 o'clock, basically. Like, you only see slightly little, like, side of it, like poking behind the person's back, basically, which is interesting. And Belinda sees it, and then all the soldiers that are there start to see it, and we start to learn whoever, like, if you directly stand behind it, then it will kill you. Like, it will send you flying back. So yeah. But while they're trying to help heal this survivor, and they start seeing this, the Doctor and a couple of the other explorers, basically, trying to find out, because they're looking like on the CCTV and looking at this well, because there was apparently something in the well, and it got out, according to these people on the CCTV, saying, we don't know what it is, it's gotten out of the well, it came from the well. And that's where we learn that this planet used to be a diamond planet, and that I think it was like 4,000 years ago or something, that the planet had a different name. And the Doctor asked, what was this planet called? And that's where we got the reveal that the planet he was standing on, he has been here before, and the planet's name was Midnight. Now, when I heard that, I absolutely freaked out. We have got the return of the planet Midnight and the Midnight entity. Now, when I watched that episode years ago with David Tennant, we even got the flashback to this as well with David Tennant in this episode, which is really cool. But that episode was so creepy back in the day, because it was like copying what you did, the entity. It was slightly different this time, but it was pretty much very similar. But yeah, you've never seen the Doctor so scared in his life, though. And he was scared in this new episode, in this sequel. And yeah, basically everyone pretty much gets killed, obviously, except for the Doctor and Belinda, and they managed to get that girl out as well. But we do realise at the end, like the little tag scene at the end, we do see that they don't 100% confirm it, but it does seem like that the Midnight entity has survived and it's made it off planet. So the entity is somewhere in the universe right now, probably causing a lot of havoc. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about this episode. But this was definitely like my favourite episode of this season so far, 100%. Okay. Right, so the next episode we have is Lucky Day. Now, this episode was a bit interesting because I believe this episode came out on the 20th anniversary, I believe, of New Who, which a lot of people thought, oh, maybe this would be a sort of time, but it actually wasn't. So, I mean, there is like a 20th like anniversary like special like Doctor Who Unleashed episode coming out on the 7th of June, I believe. So I will be checking that out just to see what that's got in it, because I know like there's a bunch of actors coming back for that special episode. But yeah, it's just like behind the scenes talking about the last 20 years. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. But yeah, going back to Lucky Day though, Lucky Day was basically an episode without the Doctor for most of it, to be honest. It's about this boy called Conrad, and he meets the Doctor and Belinda Chandra, 2005 or 2007. It was one of those years, I believe it was. New Year's Eve, when he was a kid, he sees the Doctor appear in the TARDIS, and we obviously, years later in modern day, we see like a sort of like unseen story with the Doctor with Ruby on one of their unseen adventures, basically. And Conrad is trying to track down Ruby, basically, to find the Doctor, basically. But yeah, and then eventually Ruby and this Conrad do kind of like start dating, and then they go away like for a weekend, basically. And because when we saw Conrad spying on the Doctor and Ruby, he got infected with like this like green goo, basically, that were given off by these aliens called the Shriek. These like sort of predator, sort of like hunter creature things. Like, they were basically new aliens, but yeah, he got infected, so other Shriek can actually track him. So you've got to take this antidote so they don't track you, because apparently they come to Earth like once a year, apparently, I think it was said. But yeah, he obviously got infected, didn't take the cure or the antidote, so the Shriek can actually smell him. But while they went on this weekend away, it turns out that Ruby gets tricked, and Conrad has been using her this whole time to get to Ruby and Unit, because Ruby is working with Unit at this point. So this is basically like an episode dedicated to Ruby and Unit, basically. But yeah, because he has like this own podcast called Think Tank, and he's basically trying to put out there to the public, like trying to say that Unit is lying to the public, basically, about these aliens' life, even though he saw the Doctor and the TARDIS and that when he was a kid, and he still saw the Doctor and that at the end. Like, it was kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, you've seen all this, and plus your arm got bitten off by a Shriek at the end, because Kate left you and Stuart had the most badass moment at the end by releasing a Shriek on him, which was like, oh my god. But yeah, Conrad's like podcast and his followers were like released all of Unit's like assets and like agents, like addresses and that, all online, so everyone in Unit was exposed, and they were trying to call them out, like even referencing like there is no like Cybermen, there is no Sycorax, which was obviously reference to monsters we've had in Who before, but like, come on, there's no such thing as Sycorax or Cyberman. Sycorax literally had a giant ship over London, and the Cybermen have invaded London so many times and the Earth. Like, you're telling me all these followers are believing that? I mean, that's the only thing with Who, but somehow the Earth can forget this stuff apparently in Doctor Who, but I don't know. Oh well. But yeah, I did quite like this episode. I know there was a lot of people that didn't really like this episode for some reason. I don't understand why, because I thought this episode was kind of like maybe sort of like a tester for like a Unit spin-off. I know we're getting that war between the land and the sea, but I thought this was kind of like a tester for that, and I do think some of the stuff in this episode is going to affect that spin-off show as well, because we've got some stuff from like the showrunners and writers saying it will affect some decisions made by Kate and the unit team in that show, so we will have to wait and see. So the next episode we got was the story and the engine. Now this story was an interesting one, to be honest. This episode I didn't really connect with as much, but I still quite enjoyed it though. So it was set in Nigeria in this like barber shop basically, where the doctor goes to get his hair cut. He goes meet this friend he has there that he like saved his village, I believe it was. And basically everyone that goes there has to tell like a story. And the barber there's like this new barber that has like taken control of like the barber shop basically, which is like in like a giant like spider, like mechanized spider thing in like another reality or dimension. And there's like another god there as well helping basically. But this like barber is pretending to be like another god, but he's just the storyteller. He's the one that writes the stories of the myths, so he's not actually a god because the doctor and that call him out on it, which is quite funny, like because he name dropped like Loki and like these other gods as well, but he wasn't actually a god. But yeah, but this episode, it was alright to be fair. It was cool, spoiler alert, getting to see the fugitive doctor again. Now that was something really cool. I really liked that they brought that back, because I never thought we were going to see her again. And then seeing all the like flashes of all the different doctors when they're showing off the different stories. But yeah, this episode was a good one, and we do get a glimpse at like a mysterious child called Poppy, who was actually in the Space Babies episode from the other season, but that might come back in something else, but we'll leave it as that. The next episode we got after that was the Interstellar Song Contest. Now this was an episode I thought I wasn't really going to enjoy, to be honest. I don't know why, but because I thought it might have been like a sort of musical episode. I don't really have much to say about it, but we did get quite a couple big reveals out of this. Like the music in that was quite funny, especially like the Dugadoo thing. That's become like a meme now. But yeah, even like the little hostile takeover storyline was a bit of an interesting story with the whole corporate company thing, making that honey. But yeah, it was an interesting one. But we got the return where the doctor was near death experience. We got to see his granddaughter Susan, which was really shocking. And she was saying like, wake up, like come find me, come back. Now what does this mean? Who knows? But I generally think this will be something that will lead into a future season of Doctor Who, because we don't really see much more of this again in this season. We do see like a glimpse of her in the next episode, but it's just like a 2-second like glimpse, that's it. But we don't really see her again, so who knows where we might see Susan again next. But at the very end we do see Mrs. Flood, and we get the reveal where she is a time lady or time lord, and she bigenerates into another person. And I'm going to probably butcher the name, but we get the reveal of the actress Archie Panjabi. Sorry if I butchered that, but we get the reveal that they are the classic Doctor Who villain, the Rani, has finally returned after all these years, who I previously was played by Kate O'Mara, I think it was. Yeah, in Old Who. But yeah, it was so good seeing her, the Rani, back in Doctor Who. I absolutely loved the Rani's performance in this, and I can't wait to talk about it more. The last two episodes we've got is the Wish World and the Reality War. Now, these two last episodes were something. My opinions on them: Wish World, I really enjoyed. The Reality War, I'm kind of 50-50 on, to be honest. Yeah, that's how I feel about the last two episodes, to be honest. I felt like Wish World had a foundation of what it was doing for the finale, what it was setting up for the finale. And then I felt like the Reality War, like the first half of like the episode, it kind of just went flat in the middle of the episode, to be honest, in my opinion, because we had like a returning villain. Right, so Wish World, basically it started off with the Rani like finding this baby who turned out to be one of the gods of the pantheon, like the god of wishes. It turned out to be this child, like this baby basically, who could grant these wishes. So Comrade, because the Rani broke Comrade out of prison a couple episodes ago in Lucky Day at the end, gave the power to him to create his own world, basically. And the Rani was in this world, both of them, and their goal was to build like a new Gallifrey, basically. And in this new world, Poppy, the Doctor, who was named John Smith, which we've had that name many times in Doctor Who that the Doctor's gone by, and Belinda were like a married couple in this like alternate world. And yeah, they have a daughter called Poppy, who is in Space Babies, but it's revealed later on at the end of the Reality War that it isn't actually the Doctor's daughter. It was just some guy called Richie, basically. So, because we get Ruby remembering that Poppy was real, so something was going on with Ruby's memories as well, being like a sort of glitch when they've created this new reality as well. But yeah, just to save the day at the end, it was a bit confusing, I must admit. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we get the Doctor starting to realise and remembering who he is, because the Rani makes him remember, because that's what the Rani needs him to doubt, so she can bring back Omega, the first Time Lord, the most terrifying Time Lord, and the creators of all the Time Lords, back from the Underverse. And we, in like the facility, they bring back Omega. They change the seal of Rassilon when they bring them back, and it changes to the seal of Omega instead of Rassilon. And then we finally get the return of Omega. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really disappointed with Omega's design. I'm sorry. I tried to watch it again to see if I could get behind it. But why did we have to do this huge CGI monster thing for Omega? I can't be the only one that was kind of disappointed with that, because I really liked the original designs that Omega had in Classic Who. Like, they just done what they did with Sutek, to be honest. And I just felt like that was a really bad decision, to be honest. I know that this is just my opinion, but I was kind of disappointed with the whole Omega thing, to be honest. But this season I absolutely enjoyed the Rani though. The Rani, but talking of the Rani got eaten by Omega. straight up eating her. And the Mrs. Flood, the other Rani, did escape though, so technically the Rani is still out there, so you know, there is still technically a Rani still out there that got away. But yeah, the new Rani got eaten. Which was just like, right, okay. But yeah. We did get like the return of Anita from the Christmas special, Joy to the World. And we did see Joy, the star, at the end of the episode as well, for a certain special moment that happens at the end. But yeah, seeing Anita back was so cool because I think she was like the best part of that Christmas special. But yeah, apparently she was visiting the doctor in like different times through the Time Hotel, which is really cool. We got to see John Pertwee, Matt Smith, even the episode with the Doctor and Rogue. And this is probably the first time, I believe, we've probably had like seen like the Daleks in this new Who, even though it was old footage. But that's probably the closest we're going to see to Ncuti Doctor. Well, he doesn't even interact with Daleks this season, but it's closest that they ever get to anything Dalek related in this new era of Doctor Who. Which is kind of like sad, but oh well. But yeah, Nita was fun to have back. Obviously, we've got Mel in that, and Unit in that back as well, obviously. Got Rose back as well from the 60th, which was so cool. But yeah, and something that happened when the Doctor's trying to find Poppy, really unexpected, because the Doctor's going to like force a regeneration to try and get Poppy back, which turns out it isn't his daughter anyway. We get the return of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, which I absolutely freaked out, which was absolutely insane. I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. But yeah, it was really cool seeing that. Two Doctors interacting with each other at the same time. But yeah. And then we do get the ending, which I'm now going to talk about, where the Doctor is about to regenerate, and he opens the door, the TARDIS just floating in space, releasing all the regeneration energy into space, and we start seeing him regenerate, and his face changes, and this was a face I was not expecting to see. I absolutely freaked out when I saw this, but it was really cool. I don't know how this is going to work, but weird things have happened in Doctor Who before. We have finally got the return of Billie Piper back in Doctor Who. But interestingly, on the credits, it didn't say it was introducing her as the Doctor, it just said introducing Billie Piper. So I'm not sure if she is the next Doctor, or if she's just, I don't know, maybe she's just there for like a special or something. But yeah, how are they going to explain this? But yeah, Billie Piper is potentially the next Doctor, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, I can already see the headlines tomorrow on the internet. Like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, that is pretty much how Doctor Who ends this season, though. But yeah, obviously the credits roll and that, and we do get a teaser trailer for the war between the land and the sea, which is really interesting. I will be breaking that down in a separate video. I do want to talk about it briefly just now. It does look interesting. It does seem like Unit is going to be heavily involved, and the Sea Devils do look like they've got a redesign, which is very interesting. But yeah, guys, I will save that for another video though, that breakdown. But yeah, guys, the trailer for the new spin-off does look very interesting. Looks very dark and mature, and I can't wait to see what this new show is going to lead to. Overall, guys, this season of Doctor Who is an interesting one. I do think this season was better than the first season in this new era of Doctor Who. Obviously the ending wasn't really for me. It is kind of sad that Ncuti's time as the Doctor is done, it seems like now. Because I know there was all these rumours about him leaving the past few weeks. And it does seem like it's true, him leaving the show. Whether some of the rumours of the reasons are true, why he's left, whether they're true or not, I'm not really that bothered. But yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, there's always rumours going around about, is Disney going to pull out of the deal about producing Doctor Who. I think no matter what, BBC are going to keep Doctor Who going with or without Disney. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. Obviously we've got this new spin-off which seems like it'll be the next thing that's coming out. I don't know if it's coming out this year or next year because it just said coming soon, so that could be the end of this year or like next year, because I don't know if there's a Christmas special coming out this year either, or they've even started filming the next season of Doctor Who. So I know there was a rumour about Doctor Who not coming back till 2027 apparently, but whether that's true is a whole other question. But I don't know. It is very interesting to see that Ncuti is one Doctor that hasn't interacted with Daleks or Cybermen besides the comics, I think. I think he's interacted with them in the comics, but talking of like live action, he hasn't interacted with them. Same with the Master as well, which is very interesting. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where Billie Piper's Doctor, if she is the Doctor, is going to go. Because I know there's still a few plot lines still going around. Like, you got the Master's gold tooth from the toy maker. Who picked up that tooth? That's still out there, that plot line. You got the boss plot line, which we got a reference into this final episode from Anita, because the Meep said the same thing in the 60th anniversary. And you've now got the whole Susan storyline, like Come Find Me. So is that going to be resolved in the next season? Who knows? But yeah, I don't know, guys. But yeah, overall this season I really did enjoy it. I think it was a better season than the last one. The ending wasn't really it for me. It was a bit of a mixed bag, but I think not every season is going to be great with like endings and that. But yeah, overall I'm still enjoying Doctor Who, and I want to know what you guys think. But I know this is a bit of a long video, but yeah, I just wanted to get this all out to you as soon as possible. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like, a subscribe, and leave me your thoughts on this season of Doctor Who. And stay tuned for that War Between the Land and the Sea video, because that'll be dropping next. So I'll see you guys in the next one.